All right, welcome to the Theater Greenwood Film Festival's new podcast where we talk to filmmakers, we talk to creatives, we talk to producers, we talk to people that are making films for the culture, and we talk about culture, we talk about truth, we talk about inspiration, we talk about how to make films, we talk about just things that will inspire us to be better filmmakers, even if you're just or better moviegoers to see what's behind film, see what's going on with social issues that are some of the inspiration of film, also some of the spiritual things that are happening behind the film. So today we have a exciting guest. One of the films that is going to be in this year's festival. It's called Fear of Motion. I have Mr. Trey with me. We are inviting him to the stage right now. Mr. Trey, how you doing? Welcome to
Hello.
the theater.
I feel very welcome. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah,
coming by.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we are here, man. We are talking about fear emotion. Now, first of all, just introduce yourself. You tell us a little bit about you as a writer and director.
So I'm a New York-based filmmaker from Queens, New York, and I've been doing filmmaking for around 5 years. Went to a film high school and a film school for college, and
Mhm.
I realized I enjoyed making Afro surreal films, and I like
Mm.
making films that talk about boyhood and black men.
Okay, okay. So that's cool. So great segue into fear of motion. So we're talking about fear of motion. Let's give us a little bit of we'll play a trailer here, but give us a little bit about the film, a little bit of log line. Don't give us a spoiler, but just a little bit of log line type of situation.
So like the log line is pretty simple. It's like two boys, wrong time, wrong place. One ends up in jail and the other ends up on probation. And we
Mhm.
follow the one on probation as he navigates his world on survivor skill. And
Okay,
yeah,
okay. So with that, because you said far as earlier about um these type of films interest you. In this particular one with the probation, one's going is two different directions, right? We're seeing, but we're following the main character in his probation story and everything. Is this coming from anywhere particular in your life, far as inspiration? Like, man, like all what always interests me is like, is there a point of origin where you just woke up one day and was like, man, I have to make this story
I
particular.
think during a time like I think post 2020, men have changed a lot. And I think that men have developed a whole new mentality towards things. And I feel like the name fear of motion is basically it's like everyone aligns motion with like making money, but it's like I feel like motion is more of like navigating your world mentally, spiritually, and like I feel like a lot of black men have a fear of motion towards seeing more in life, and
Mm,
the mental health aspect is not exactly like explored in a lot of films. Like
mm,
I see the same films all the time, and I want to make something that kind of explored what it's like to have PTSD because I have PTSD myself from
mm.
certain situations, and I can only imagine what it's like growing up in an environment where you didn't know you had no intention to harm nobody, but then you got caught up in the system, and now you have to deal with it, and like the mental aspect of that is like what I want to explore.
Yeah. I think it's something that we definitely got to talk about because I think when we were having a conversation earlier, we were talking about like, and like I have an uncle that he was in the military, and I've seen what that aspect is of the PTSD. But also too, I think that this is my take on it is that it's it's off. I think from people that don't have been in this situation or been in the shoes of particularly like a black man, whatever we have to face, like it's almost like you were saying earlier, like, oh, we just have to take it, or like you don't really understand what that pressure is. So to a lot of people outside, it doesn't warrant you crashing out. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't
Right.
warrant whatever that is, because it's like, oh, it's not that serious. But let's speak to that for us. Like what is that? What do you think? This is a question for you. What do you think that is in society where it's been like marketed to us like this? Like, where do you think that comes from, and why do you think that is? Where it's like, oh, you don't have the potential to crash out. Like, you don't. You should eat that. Like,
Yeah,
what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what do you think that comes from?
I think that comes from a lot of America's plan to like they see like successful black men as like their biggest threat sometimes, and in my opinion, I feel like they affect us through like psychologically,
Mm,
education wise, and we're constantly told that we're being less than, that we're dumb, and that we don't amount to
mm,
anything. But they're only showing things that other men have made mistakes of doing. But there's no
mm,
context of as of why they make a mistake. I don't. I have like I don't think any boy wakes up and thinks about killing people. It just depends on their environment. And I don't think
mm,
every black person who ends up in jail intent like I don't think I think they just lack the mental health resources to actually help them. And
mm,
with
mm,
the amount of pressure, most black men, but black sons grow up without a father, and a lot of them tend to have like father issues, or some end up with like a really like a mother that's taking on both roles, and now they're catching strays in that whole childhood. They are
mm,
finding a harder way to navigate life in a healthier way. And I've been blessed to have two parents in my household. However,
mm.
like I have experienced like my own friends fall victim into that area, and it made me sad to see how like a lot of black men, like especially in boyhood, don't see the same things as I did, and I wanted to make that
Yeah.
experience for them. I wanted to show that I do resonate, and we in this together. Like I hate seeing like black men from different like economic situations to like look at each other differently, but like I feel we all go through it mentally, regardless of like my status or regardless of like where we're at in life. Sometimes they
Mm.
still see us as one thing, and I have to
Yeah.
take that into account. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm excited about that because just over the course of what it's interesting with this festival to see like what's being said by the filmmakers, because that's kind of how I look at it as a filmmaker. I know that the filmmaker is saying something to us, even though the characters are talking. There's a statement being had. So, what would you say? What would you speak to? Now we're going to kind of get into the filmmaking side. Speak to us about like that. I've seen it this year with some of the films being made by some brothers that are out there that seem that we are like it's a shift happening where we are starting to talk about our stories, where we're feeling comfortable to see our experience is valuable. You know what I mean? Like before it was like you said, it's like, oh, that don't mean nothing. But we're kind of taking ownership of our story. What do you think that's due to? And kind of also maybe you can expound to in your personal journey about what that was for you. Has it always been a thing? Has it always been a thing of kind of you taking ownership to want to go into the depths of those things, or is it or was it just a shift? I remember you mentioned, after kind of 2020, I remember, COVID, all that different stuff,
I
but
think yeah,
what do you think so basically the question is globally with the community, but then also yourself.
I think it definitely. I still have to put the blame on 2020. I think for
No,
me, I had a mental shift in 2020, being locked inside of in like a bedroom for like a long period of time. I'm like, this feels like a prison, and I can, and
mm,
it end up, me and my family, we weren't beefing, but like, if we, you know, I got to know more about them over time, being in this one space, and
mm,
having moments to unpack about certain things, and like I felt literally on thin ice and trapped that I couldn't go outside. So then when we finally
mm,
got outside, and look, with the stimulus checks, and like people men are on quick money timing now. A lot of
mm,
men tend to just look at things, and they don't put any effort. Like social media got more advanced, and then people have a shorter attention span. People don't feel
mm,
ambitious anymore. And like a lot of times, like I feel like this made me realize that like I'm as I'm getting older, I started seeing like how easy it is to like how not even how easy, like I feel like men in general have just had are going through a phase right now. And I think
mm,
like we're not giving our women a break. We're giving ourselves a little too much grace. And I feel like we clocked out, but we mentally clocked out, but never mentally clocked back in. And when I made this
mm,
film, I wanted to show like what it's like for some men going through this phase right now, that they're mentally clocked out. They mentally are struggling to navigate this life, and
mm,
like how to really maneuver, because that post 2020 really did damage them to an extent. Like I don't remember like
Yeah.
men being like this in 2019 to 2016.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good that, like you're making films like this to help us like really get a chance to like evaluate that space that we're in, because it's kind of like you know what, it's usually like you say, it's like get through it, but
Exactly.
you don't come in there and say, okay, let me sit in here with you and let me see what you got going on. Let me, you watching me carry the groceries about to fall down. You don't walk up and grab a bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's kind of, I feel like I can see that. I can see that we're in that space, and I know that that kind of was the thing on my end too. It's like, that shift happening and us having to say, you know what, um, with all that pressure, it's like, okay, it makes you think, where are we actually going? Like with your film, like the fear of motion, like where is the motion actually going? Like
Exactly.
where am I moving? And so that connect that to, so how do you connect that, the fear of motion, that title, with what you're saying right now, like far as the PTSD, like what does that, how does that coincide?
I'll say it like this. I think in my experience in my childhood, like especially like I went through a lot through the education. Like like
Mhm.
I was in IEP, and I had like certain things that I was got casted away in the education. IEP is one of the most underfunded programs for kids with learning
Mm,
disabilities. So a lot of
mm,
times I felt discouraged and not valued enough to actually go out and like see more through like my education. I didn't want to get a higher education. I had a fear of generally being better than like what I felt. I felt like this is just what it is. I felt like the smart kids are just gonna get to this level, and that's how it is beyond. It made me feel like I wasn't
yeah.
normal. That made me feel like with fear of motion, that like I feared like navigating the world. I feared like actually seeking purpose, because I felt like I'm only
Mm,
limited to this one thing. It's which I see
mm,
a lot of black men, especially ones who aren't evaluated, suffering because they feel like I'm only limited to one thing, and they're like incredibly gifted. You
yeah.
know, that's and to align it more with the context of the film with like probation.
Mm,
Like I used to work at a probation center, Department of Probation in
okay.
New York. I was a video editor, so while I was there in the creative
Mm,
department, my job was to watch and do quality checks on videos of different kids that would talk about like their experience on probation and what they were doing. And I really
mm,
wanted to advocate for them. I wanted to show that like a lot of them are mentally not like right, and a lot of them are suffering and they don't have enough resources. And this is kind of like a
mm,
cry for help, is that like with the city, like institutions need to fund more into their resources and less into law enforcement. Because if you fund more
mm,
into law enforcement, it's only going to increase crime, in my opinion,
yeah.
rather than actually help the community to get better and see like offer more programs so the kids can actually see more through like their own through what they see.
Man, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So I guess to me too as well, it is there any, how do you get them into the conversation with this film? Are you planning on maybe seeing if you can, screen to the probation department? Are they even open for conversation, or
Well,
is it, how's that go?
they weren't exactly thrilled about this film all the time. Like
Mhm,
some of them were cool with it, some of them weren't. Some of them
mhm,
were, they didn't agree with it because they felt like you're only showing the bad side. But I
mhm.
could say the same thing about cop shows. They only show how cops are heroes. But when you go out on the
Yeah,
street, cops are not heroes.
yeah,
But the media wants to portray what they say. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna show you what I see. This is
yeah,
what I
yeah,
observe. I'm gonna show you the truth.
yeah.
I'm not saying all of them are, but this is the majority. So a lot of probation officers have said that my hands are tied in certain situations, and like I didn't want to screen it for them. I wanted to target like youth programs, different programs for like underprivileged kids. I wanted
Okay.
to target like colleges, law schools, see their opinion on it. That's like my main audience. Probation officers a little it's a little iffy.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can see like that. That'd be a good move. Is the law schools, the people that are talking about law, the people that are talking about social justice, getting in contact with them in different spaces to get that part of. their assignment, get them to write something on it, get their thoughts on it, to dive in, to say, okay, well, what can we do to change it? Because they're the next people that are going to be a part of these changing laws and advocating and stuff like that. So we got to get it into their hands. We got to get into their hands to make some decisions. So that's that, man. So I guess the next thing towards the end, as we wrap it up, is, what was it like creating this film? Like, what was some of the things? What were some of the challenges? What were some of the things on? What are some of the main points that somebody's watching this, that is a filmmaker, that's saying, man, I want to create something that's close to me. I want to create something that speaks to what I'm seeing. How do I go to A to Z? How do I go from an idea to actually having a final product that I can put in a film festival? Because a lot of that I feel like, as a filmmaker myself, is like, I feel like a lot of that is like mental, because the resources is there, but it's a lot of like mental resources I don't think people talk about, like, far as, okay, being able to reach out and talk to people, being able to connect, being able to, man, put a production together for 2 or 3 days and show up. Like, how does that happen
It
on
definitely
your
isn't
end?
easy. So it definitely isn't easy. It took a lot of sleepless nights to really like prep and choosing the right people. I would say like choose like-minded people, people that
Mm,
generally do care about the project, less about caring about their portfolio. Choose
mm,
people who generally want to see like themselves like immersed into this. Like I can't stress enough of like the team will take you farther. And
mm,
throughout my process, like I say this all the time, I take filmmaking very seriously, because if people are going to put all this money and time into your project and funding it, you best
mm,
believe that you have to put your best foot forward to make sure you deliver something. And
mm,
something, because at the end of the day,
mm.
once you complete the film, it's a product, and you're going to have to
Yeah,
learn how to either capitalize it or like utilize it for whatever purpose you have. And I feel like a lot of the
yeah,
problems I see with a lot of people attempting to do film is that they don't take into account that over preparing is the best thing you can do possible, and that resulted in like how the final product came out. Over preparing and like actually like like rewriting the script, getting the shot list done, making sure like you get the set ready, pre-make the set dressing, the box, like all the materials are here. All of that
mm,
came into play, and it made me become a better leader. And I'm
mm,
not afraid to admit that there's been moments where I almost got overwhelmed, and like
mm.
politics were going around, and like at the end of the day, like I learned to just keep my composure and learn how to have a bit more of lateral thinking towards things, and remember what is the point of this. You're not doing
Yeah,
this to chase gold. I'm not doing this to win an Oscar. I'm doing this
mm,
because I want to help people. So if
yeah,
I'm going to help people, that motivate me to continue going forward. Just remember your purpose and remember like why you're doing this. Because if you're doing this for gold, it's going to come out really bad. It's going to
yeah,
end up being like expensive garbage.
yeah. And we see it all the time. We see it all the time. Them coming, they spend how much? Oh man, they
Yeah,
could have did that for a quarter of that. You know what I'm saying? Just
like a
and,
$3
and
million
had
budget.
exactly, and had some purpose behind it. You know what I'm saying? So it don't mean nothing. And that's what I think, what excites me about where film is, and where I'm seeing filmmakers, is like, we're starting to we're starting to get starting to allow it's starting to click, where it's like, okay, don't nobody really want to tell that story, right? Like, what I'm saying is, like, not in a bad way or not inspirational way, but meaning that you got that story, but don't nobody want to tell that story because you got it. Like, you have to be the one to bring it out, like, because, like, somebody else may not be passionate about um probation, or what they suffering, right? And I'm sure you experienced through your journey, where it's like, some people care, some people don't, but it's somebody out there that's their experience, and they need their story told, to go further, to go to that next step, to go to say, hey man, let me get some help. Let me think about it. Or that person that's not part of that, but yeah, my cousin, he on probation, and I be looking at him like, why he always complaining? And okay, I get it. Right. Well, let me let me be a resource. Right. So it's so many components, and I like to call it the wave. It's so many waves of that, of what the film is, that we don't even know what that is, but we just know our call is to get that film complete and to put it out there, and then let it do what it do. So, man, I appreciate you making this film. Continually, continue to make films that are close to you, that are important, man, that really speak to what's going on and speak to why you're passionate about this. So I thank you for coming to the theater. I look forward to screening Fear of Motion. Fear of Motion will be screening. The festival happens OSU Tulsa. It's going to be, we just adjusted the date a little bit. It's August 11th through the 14th. Just that 10th is not going to be, we're going to consolidate that to the 11th. But right there, OSU Tulsa, right there, you can go on greenwoodfilmfestival.com and check out more. There's a trailer to check out Fear of Motion. And then Trey, let us know where we can find some more information about you as a filmmaker and everything.
So you can definitely check out my Instagram. That will be at nyc.trey, trey.vids, vidz. And you will see all my videos and portfolios there and upcoming projects I'll be posting. I really appreciate it if whenever I have the funding, I want to continue these projects, and I'll gladly be at the festival, and I'm glad to see everyone there.
All right. Thank you, Trey. Thank you for coming through to the festival, and that's it. So welcome to not welcome to the theater because we already have a theme, but but thank you for coming to the theater, and we are out of here. We'll catch you next time on the next episode.
No problem.